back to the channel. I'm Chelsea and you're watching Chelsea Sang. Today we're doing a Volume 1 review of Ossan Idol. So I first heard about this when I was watching Laura A. Grace video. You should check out her channel if you don't already know it. Lots of great stuff there. And I decided, ooh, this sounds cool. Let me pick it up. I honestly don't have very many titles like this in my collection. I don't really have a lot of shoujo or anything that is kind of related to that. So this one is the genre is idol, which of course it is. I've never honestly noticed that. I really don't have a lot of Tokyo pop here. It sounded like a pretty interesting premise, so I thought I'd give it a shot. All right, so Ossan Idol is by Ichika Kino and Mochiko Mochida. Yeah, so they wrote and drew this story, and I will go straight into the synopsis. So for the summary, all right, so we open with our main character, Moroku, he's a man who's always been bullied for being overweight for most of his life. And then after he gets basically fired from his job because of his weight, which is like really too much, like honestly, like really. He then, because of this exciting incident, he then locks himself away from the world and lives as a hikitori for like 10 years. So one day he suddenly develops an interest in dancing and decides that he is gonna try and get a little bit fit so that he can enjoy this newfound hobby of his, you know? So he, at the request of his sister, joins this gym and she introduces him to a friend of hers, and they end up becoming gym buddies and they work out together, and Moroku feels like really drawn to him. His name is Yoichi, and they become fast friends, and Moroku keeps working out, you know, loses a lot of weight, gets a lot like more fit, you know, all of that. And one day he goes to a karaoke bar and decides to record himself dancing and singing to a song that he like really liked, and he ends up accidentally uploading that video and it happens to go viral. So now he's being recognized on the street as he's walking, and it's just something that he is certainly just like not used to at all. But then we also meet another guy named Shiju, I think his name is. Did I write that down correctly? Yeah, so Shiju is a former dancer. He was aspiring to be a professional dancer, and then some things happened with the group that he was working with, and so now he is living and working as a host bar, and he's not trying very hard to be a very good one. So that's currently his life, and he's also friends with Yuichi, and they all kind of, you know, they meet in places like the gym. So one day Shiju finds a poster for a dance competition, and he's like, you guys, let's go in together. So they decide to, you know, go in, and then one thing leads to another, they end up being scouted by this producer who decides that he wants to make them idols, all right? So basically, a whole lot happens like right in the beginning of this, and there's a lot of stuff that I actually left out. So it is a pretty fast sweeping show, fast sweeping story. Just it does a lot of building really quickly. We end volume 1 with a former pro dancer, a muscle-bound businessman, because Yuichi is the CEO of a small entertainment agency, right? And a very naive and kind of insecure pretty boy now with a new lease on life, you know, like all of them kind of they're gonna form this idol group. So that's where we are by the end of volume 1, and as the title suggests, they are all old. I mean, they're not old, they're like in their mid to late 30s, which is the thing that makes it slightly, you know, different, because normally like idols, they usually start young. I'm pretty sure like the kind of cutoff age for like starting is probably like mid-20s. So these guys have a probably at least a 10-year like behind start when it comes to age. But it is pretty interesting. So we have like three pretty good looking men, and they're all pretty old. I think right now the only person's age that we know for sure is Miroku, and he is 36. So, and the other two are a little bit older. So that is something that is certainly different. So like right off the bat, like I can tell it's gonna be funny, you know? Um, and there will certainly be pretty good bromance that's happening here for sure. Like you can tell just by like how their relationship is going between these three, um, right off, like right at the beginning. Like you can tell that that's going to be a pretty big part of the story. And what's you know a little also like something to note is usually stories with idol groups like they aren't a novel idea, like they've been around. There's a whole Tokyo pop category apparently. So like it's not new, but I think the fact that they are so much older brings like a little more refreshing spin on the whole thing. So it definitely intrigued me, like a spin on the genre. I'm kind of looking forward to that. And why it's interesting, like usually, like I said before, they usually start pretty much a lot younger. So the fact that they are older means that there's room for a story to build with people with adult problems, like like they've lived a little bit longer. Granted, they're each coming from a very different parts in life. So like how they come together and how the story kind of builds on each of those characters' backgrounds, I think it's going to be something pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. And what I really hope is that the story focuses on that aspect and not too much on like them just kind of trying to play them younger, if you know what I mean, like having like younger people problems, but which they really wouldn't have because they are like full blown adults, like they're like legit adults. So I hope we see more of that. I mean, there was a little bit of that happening, so hopefully it continues. There are some things that were brushed over a little bit too easily that I feel that they could add some real depth to the characters in the story, and I really hope they do come back again later. I'm not going to go too in depth with those because I really don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. So I hope that it comes back around later, and I really hope that it's handled effectively. But only time will tell, so we'll have to see. In terms of what it reminds me of, I honestly do not know. Like I said, I don't have a lot of these in my collection. I also don't really watch a lot of anime that is related to this. Most of the music related stuff is more so that I have seen or read is more so related to like bands and not necessarily idols because they really are different. It's a kind of a different scene. In terms of dramas though, I have seen a few that are kind of giving me something that's a little bit like this. The Liar and His Lover and Entertainer, and of course they're like a lot of K-pop idol dramas that I've like kind of skimmed in the past. Also brings to mind some really old ones like You're Beautiful and Mary Stayed Out All Night that kind of have that kind of aspiring idol vibe to it too. Oh, Cinderella and the Four Knights, that definitely gives me a similar vibe. Ooh, what was it? Yamato Nadeshiko Shichi Hench. I honestly never learned what the English title was for that, but that kind of gives me a similar vibe to this too somehow. Yeah, it definitely. What's interesting about it is that it has a lot of things that I feel like it's kind of thrown in there. You kind of have your lone female character who doesn't seem like she's going to be a big part of it, but she kind of might end up being like the grounding force with like these three kind of harem style setup, this vibe that's going on. Also, interesting characters. That producer, I want to get to know him more. So far, he's like a whole lot more interesting than our main guy for me personally. But you know what? We'll see. I'm not gonna dig too much into, you know, any of this. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Will I keep reading? You know what? I will. Why? Because sometimes I need something that's a little bit lighter and a little nonsensical, just to like read in between all of like the serious psychological and like slice of life and the more like mysteries and like epic tales that I actually do have in my collection. So you know what? I'm ready to, you know, like branch out. And you know, I do like, if this was a show, I would just like be able to watch it, you know, like it'll be perfect background noise for me to just kind of like have on, so that's something I don't need to pay too close attention to. And I'm definitely gonna keep at least checking out, I'm at least gonna check out the next couple volumes and see how I feel, you know, just like when, if this was a drama, I would at least watch the first 5 episodes and decide if I'm gonna continue with it. I'll do that for this, you know, we'll see where it goes. I think it has a lot of potential. At the very least, it can be really funny. So, Ossan Idol, those are my thoughts. Let me know if you've read this, if you like it. I think there are 5 volumes out, and I actually think it was a part of the week 4 birthday sale on Bright Stuff. So I'm definitely gonna pick up a few more volumes from there. And yeah, so let me know what you think below if you want to check it out. If you have anything that is a little bit similar, but it's not too far, because you know, if it's too much, I don't think I'll be able to deal. But put them down below, like give me some recommendations. What shoujo should I read next? Because it's slim pickings over here in this collection of mine. It truly is. But thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next